So last night I seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, and dare I say, best live action Spider-Man movie of all time. Hold on. Lower your pitchforks and bombs and calm y'all's asses down. Is this the best Spider-Man movie within the MCU under Tom Holland? By far, yes, in my opinion. Better than No Way Home, actually. No Way Home was mainly carried by nostalgia, with Tobey and Andrew along with their villains making a huge reappearance in that movie, which is why it made $2 billion in the box office. But back to the movie though. Destin Daniel Cretton and Kevin Feige finally gave us a more faithful comical adaptation of Spider-Man in the MCU after a whole trilogy of Spider-Man movies starring Tom Holland. A trilogy that was basically a prequel to this movie and the weakest received Spider-Man adaptations of all of the live action Spider-Man movies according to fans. But this movie fucking delivered with comic accurate frames that was ripped straight out of the comics. Special appearances that I will not spoil, but let's say were long awaited. Cameos from other heroes we know and love. The struggles Peter Parker has to go through time and time trying to balance between his identity of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Taking punches left and fucking right metaphorically and literally. And the action scenes, boy do I tell you about the action in this movie. Destin was a blessing in the hiring process because the swinging, the Scorpion scraps, the Hulk fight scene, best action sequence in the movie in my opinion. Just seeing Spider-Man and Hulk go at it in general live action on the big screen was unreal to see. Him and Punisher going back and forth having this tough love relationship throughout the movie was fucking golden. Had people in my theater cracking the fuck up every time they interacted or Punisher was on screen. One of the main complaints people have of Tom Holland's Spider-Man franchise, besides Aunt May becoming even younger and straight up hot, is that there's too many heroes and side characters that come in and take the spotlight from him throughout his movies, not letting him be the main focus of the movie and overall story. But this movie didn't feel that way in my opinion. It was a Spider-Man / Peter Parker driven story with the minor inclusion of beloved, recognized characters along with new ones. And boy was it a relief seeing Hulk finally back on the big screen since Infinity War. People were getting fucking hyped in my theater as Marvel did the Hulk fucking dirty, but he's back now. Overall, I think this movie checked most of the boxes when making a Spider-Man film. The real life struggles Peter goes through within his personal life. The witty banter coupled with his sick ass fighting going against villains. The movie of course had your funny Spider-Man moments, a lot of them, but it was also depressing when it needed to be, like a Spider-Man movie should. It bandages the rough moments with uplifting comedic ones. Now in terms of comparison to the recent adaptations, meaning Tobey and Andrew, which I'm already knowing people and influencers are immediately going to compare after seeing this film opening night, as someone who grew up with Tobey in his trilogy along with Andrew in his two movies while maturing watching Tom Holland's, I'm going to try and be completely unbiased and say that to me, this is right under Tobey's Spider-Man, not Tom Holland's trilogy as a whole, just this movie, as the Home trilogy has been the weakest out of all of them. But this shows love to Spider-Man as a character in almost every way. My favorite adaptation of Spider-Man is Andrew, simply because of how he portrays Spider-Man as a character, not Peter Parker, but Spider-Man, and also the action scenes from TASM 1 and especially 2. The action scenes coupled with the music. But Tobey will of course always be the GOAT, and unbiasedly, he checks almost all the boxes of a perfect Spider-Man. And I think in this movie, Brand New Day, Tom Holland does it better than Andrew, which is why I think we need to see more of this. There's many things where he does better than both Andrew and Tobey in my opinion. I won't say Tom is my favorite completely because for one, his whole character wasn't even uprisen from Uncle Ben. Tom's was solely in the shadow of Iron Man the entire Home trilogy, which is one of the biggest complaints about the MCU Spider-Man adaptations. He never found his sense of identity and purpose. It didn't take until this very movie where the phrase "with great power comes great responsibility" was even mentioned, and Uncle Ben is the one who created it, and his name has never been mentioned in any of Tom's movies, which gripes almost every Spider-Man fan, because that's the whole reason for Spider-Man, Uncle Ben, and he hasn't been brought up at all, like he's some forbidden name you should not mention within the MCU, which I partially get sort of because we've heard the same story many times, but at least in Matt Reeves' The Batman, it shows one frame where it alludes to his origin without it being explained, because that's what made Batman. His parents got fucking clapped in an alleyway in front of him as a kid, which forever scarred his ass, and it showed a kid going through the same experience with little to no words, just expression. But back to Spider-Man. To me, this movie in terms of a Spider-Man movie is second to Tobey, but as my favorite Spider-Man film, I say it's tied with TASM 2, but that's for me to decide in my opinion. TASM 2 is overhated. I don't give a fuck. I wish I can say more as there's a lot to be spoiled, but I won't. This movie overall was a 9 out of 10. An amazing Spider-Man movie, hands down.
Say that again.
See what I did there? If Tom's Spider-Man was brought up by the idea of Uncle Ben instead of fucking Tony Stark, and if Aunt May wasn't an OnlyFans model, then this would be my favorite live action Spider-Man of all time. And that's what I feel is missing for Tom's Spider-Man in my opinion. But other than that, absolute cinema. It genuinely, and I kid you not when I say this, felt like Sony's PS4 and PS5 Spider-Man come to life on the big screen. This movie has so many references to past Spider-Man adaptations, and especially the games. But the whole organic webs, Spidey tracker, action scenes, web swinging, it was so good, bro. You can tell they took heavy inspiration inspiration from the games and past movies. The best Spider-Man suit we've ever gotten live action. The chemistry between Tom and Zendaya in this movie with MJ and Peter is unmatched, of course, like always, but also depressing as fuck. I still think Andrew and Emma Stone have the best chem as Gwen Stacy with Peter in the TASM series in terms of love interest, but Zendaya and Tom's is still good. Sucks we don't have a Stan Lee cameo to fit the missing piece of the puzzle anymore. RIP the GOAT. He would be proud of seeing this faithful adaptation of his child, Spider-Man. But Spider-Man fans were eating good. Our next masterpiece coming up is Beyond the Spider-Verse, and I can't wait for that next year as well. Go see this movie 3 times over. It deserves the praise from Spider-Man fans, Marvel fans, just superhero fans in general. If any YouTuber LARPing as a movie critic says this shit is flawed, or if anyone in general tries to tell you it sucks, cleave their ass in the fucking jaw. This movie is making over $1 billion. I don't care. I'm out this bitch.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, I know exactly